In today's other news now, former sub-postmasters from Northern Ireland have given a mixed reaction to a new law the Prime Minister says will exonerate and compensate victims of the post office scandal. The scandal, which affected hundreds of people, has been described as one of the biggest miscarriages of justice in British legal history. Today, Rishi Sunak said victims will have their convictions overturned and be able to claim compensation. The law will not automatically apply in Northern Ireland, but the government says it's working to ensure it also includes people here. Michael Fitzpatrick reports.
The post office scandal impacted the lives of thousands of people. Today, those caught up in what Rishi Sunak described as one of the greatest miscarriages of justice were eagerly waiting to hear what he had to say.
Today, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated.
Alan McLaughlin, a former Belfast post office manager, is among more than 700 who were given criminal convictions. While his conviction for fraud-related offences was overturned in 2022, hundreds of others are still waiting. He's welcomed today's announcement.
They will see light at the end of the tunnel, to use the old cliche. They will see that there is an end point in sight, which they haven't had. They haven't had that since the appeal court decisions back in 2019-2021. There's been no end in sight for them. The post office has continued to stymie any progress since that point, and would have continued to do it had Sunak and the government not decided, you need to cut this logjam, it needs to be stopped.
Alan says his wrongful conviction had a huge impact on his life.
I had a reasonable expectation that the investment that I made and from the background that I had, a reasonable trajectory in mind as to where I would end up 20 years down the line. But thanks to the post office, that didn't happen.
Deirdre Connolly and Fiona Elliott are both former postmistresses from County Tyrone. While she was never convicted, Deirdre Connolly was wrongly accused of stealing £16,000 from her former post office in Killeter.
Firstly, I didn't hear an apology. Secondly, it lasted 30 seconds. There's no details, no nothing. I don't have much faith in it at the minute. We were made bankrupt, we lost the shop. We did get keep in our house because it was negative equity at the time. I took epilepsy, so I'm on medication for the rest of my life for it.
Fiona Elliott ran a post office in the rural village of Clady. Though never accused of fraud, she spent £8,000 making up discrepancies in the faulty software.
I feel happy that it has come to this and that they're finally realising what has went wrong and admitting responsibility for everything. So I'm kind of feeling relieved and happy.
The new law will not automatically apply to Northern Ireland and Scotland. The solicitor representing victims says a question mark hangs over what will happen to those convicted here.
What they have said about Northern Ireland is that it won't be automatic in Northern Ireland. So the concern I would have at the moment is, will it depend on Stormont being up and running? So that's obviously a main concern at the moment. But once we get the full detail, we'll obviously consider that and see where we can go.
The government has said it will work with Northern Ireland and Scotland to ensure victims wrongly accused there can also be cleared. Michael Fitzpatrick, BBC Newsline.